Hello, today's project is a Simplicity Regent lawnmower that as of today, May 31st, 2020, I think I've had it for 9 or 10 years. It's been a relatively good mower. I have had some issues with the motor in it. As you can see, there's issues there, but it still runs good. Just had a few issues here and there. Anyhow, after 10 years, and numerous deck belt replacements, the hydrostatic drive belt needs to be replaced. As you can see, I have the deck off, and there's the old belt there. And in my other searching on YouTube, I found lots of other videos of people that were able to easily replace these belts just by pulling them out and putting a new one on the tensioners here. But when they designed this lawn tractor, mine's a Regent 38-inch, they made a fatal flaw in that the belt here, you can see it goes on each side of the steering stem. So you can't take this belt out of there without removing the steering stem. And I'll shine a light up there so you can see it a little better. Maybe. You can see the steering stem there, and the belt is on each side of it. So this belt, you can't just pull the belt out. So you got to take the whole steering rack out, which I'm in the process of doing right now. There's a top plate in here, and again, pardon the shakiness. There's a top plate that sits in here, which is right there, that the battery sits on. And there's a bunch of bolts that hold it in. And I took that loose just to see if there's any way that maybe the steering stem was in two pieces or something, or it would disconnect there, and it's not. So I guess it was a good opportunity to clean this all out anyways. But so that's what I'm going to do next, is climb underneath of here and take that steering rack hardware off there and see if I can drop that plate and somehow get the steering stem out of there. I don't really know how that's going to work because let me dim this light a little bit. It's pretty bright. There we go. The steering stem actually ends right here on this gear, and I don't see any way to take that gear off. There isn't like a clip on it or anything where you'd be able to drop that gear and pull the stem up. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop the video right now, and I'm going to take these two bolts loose and drop this part, and I guess you could call this a rack and pinion, and drop this out of here and see where I'm at. So I'll be back when I get that done. All right, just an addendum here. And I know some of you are probably thinking, for the 5 or 6 of you that ever watch this, but I like to make videos for other people that run into these problems so that when they look it up on YouTube, they don't have to deal with all the same BS that I did. And I didn't see a video on YouTube for this mower. Not saying there wasn't, because YouTube being YouTube, but anyways, I had a lot of choice words about this design, which I'll save you all from. So here's another one here, is these bolts here, instead of being threaded up on the top plate, they got nuts way up in there. So I'm gonna have to try to get a wrench up in there so I can turn these out. Really like this lawn tractor, but whoever designed this steering system obviously didn't take into account that people would ever be replacing this belt, because this is a horrible design. All right, here we are a little while later, and got the rack and pinion loose. That didn't give me anything, so I determined that I gotta take the steering wheel off and drop the steering stem all the way down and out of the mower to get the belt on. And then once the belt is on, I gotta put the steering stem all the way back up into the mower, reinstall the steering wheel, which you can see laying over there, and put all of this back together. What an utterly nonsensical design. Look at this. All this crap to take off to change a belt. Wow. Frustration level is amping up here a little bit. Okay, so you gotta take the steering wheel off. Not sure what size socket that was. I just used my impact and got that off of there. But you gotta also take this cover here off of here, and you'll notice that there is a clip right here. So I'm going to get that clip off of there, and once that clip comes off, I bet this steering stem will drop out and through. And I don't have, well, I'll have to maybe block the front end up to get the stem all the way out of there. Maybe have to call in the cavalry, aka the wife, to help me clear this thing out of the mower so that I can replace the belt. Alright, so here you can actually see a clearer picture of the problem here. The belt, you know, is looped around the steering stem from the factory, so you got to go through all this rigmarole. And the wife wasn't available, so I made do. All right, here we go. All right, the steering stem is out. And now the steering stem is separated from the belt. Now I can complete the job that should have taken 15 or 20 minutes at most to do. And I've probably been at it for, I don't know, an hour. Maybe going back together won't be as bad, but I can't echo this again. What a stupid design. If you're watching this video and you have one of these tractors and you're hoping for an easy way out, you're not going to get it. You're not going to be like those other guys that had the Broadmoor tractors or the other models that they got lucky and were able to snake that belt through that steering housing, because if you have a Regent, you're out of luck, my friend. Okay, so here's another problem that you're going to run into. As you see, the belt up here has got these little guides around it, and there's no bolt head to loosen to spin them out so you can get the belt off, so you're just going to have to rip the belt past these. Maybe use a little lubricant to help with that. But the other thing is here's this is an electronic clutch, and so here's the wiring for it. Get my hand out of the way. And the belt won't clear that either, because you can see that's right here and it runs up through that hole. So I think I see the plug right there. So I'm gonna have to pull that plug, feed the wire back through this hole down to here, and cut the zip tie so that I can get the belt past the clutch. Okay, do you remember earlier I said that you didn't necessarily have to pull the battery tray? Well, that's not true. Because this plug right here, that's the plug for the electronic clutch. And there's no way you'd get to that without taking the battery tray out. So that's what you got to get to. We got to disconnect this and pull it back through to get the belt around it. Alright, this better illustrates the next problem here. Got that loose, the belt's past that, but this belt guide up here, remember how I was saying that, like, a lot of times they put a bolt on there so that you can spin it out of the way? This one's actually part of the whole chassis. It's it's stamped right into it. And you probably can't see it, but there isn't very much room between that belt guide and the pulley. So I don't think I'm going to be able to pull the belt out of there. I'm probably going to have to bend the stupid thing and then bend it back. Alright, I did as I said. I bent that tab out a little bit and got the belt off. You can see here's the old belt. This spot's really bad. It doesn't even really resemble a belt anymore. It was really bad. It's a wonder it worked as long as it did. And so you can kind of see it here next to the new belt. What a difference. Hopefully this belt last as long as I own this lawnmower, because if it goes out again, I think I'll let someone else fix it. All right, back to reassembly. All right, something else of note, while I was routing the new belt, I noticed that this pulley had some strange wear on it. Looks pretty normal here, right? So yeah, maybe I'll be able to mow the lawn today and not destroy the belt, but I'm gonna get a close-up here of the numbers on this pulley so that I can go order another one. The bearing's still good though, that's good, right? V3000-3316. All right, making some progress here on, we'll call this Project Simplicity. Probably, I don't know, two hours or so of working time into this. I did take a break and have some lunch and let the anger subside a little bit. So as you can see, I got the steering wheel back on, steering linkage is all hooked up. The steering works. And actually the biggest pain in the butt getting this back together has been this battery tray. There's all kinds of stuff that goes around it. That rod right there is for the parking brake. That rod right there is for the cruise control. And then there are battery wires and other wires. Right there you can see that cluster down there's got to actually go through the battery tray. And so all this thing has to get set down in here just perfectly for it all to go in there, and then you got to stick your hands underneath of it and stick the wires through the spots and everything. And I haven't bolted it down yet. I just got it down in there. It probably took me 20 minutes to get it in there right. So that's the next thing, and then I should be ready to fire it up and give it a try. There's 6 bolts left in the pile that hold that in there, so hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel here.